first video. This is just off the dome, so I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know where it's going to go. But, yeah. So the 2020-2021 NBA season, it's not over yet. Recording this, Game 6 is today, July 20th. But it's been a pretty good season, pretty fun season. In my opinion, probably one of the more entertaining and I guess unexpected might be the word I'd use to describe it as well. I guess we might as well start from today, go backwards. Regardless of who wins the finals, if the Bucks win tonight, or say the Suns or Bucks win Game 7 on probably Thursday, whatever, I think it's a massive win for the NBA as a whole, in addition to obviously the respective team that wins. You're either getting a winner or a team that hasn't won in an NBA championship in decades, or you're getting a team who will be winning their first ever NBA title. It's a nice switch up from like the Warriors or the Lakers, or say the Celtics, or they're a team with actual, well, not actual, I don't want to sound rude, with like a more of a winning pedigree. Because at the beginning of the season, I mean, everyone would have thought it would be either the Lakers, Clippers, or the Nets in the finals and winning. But I guess that's where we'll start off with. I don't wish injury on anyone, obviously, who would. But the injuries definitely shook up this regular season and especially the playoffs. In the regular season, you had guys like Jamal Murray, James Harden, Kyrie Irving at some points, Kevin Durant at some points, LeBron, Anthony Davis. There were a lot of big names, Joel Embiid, a lot of big names that missed a bulk of the season due to injury, and that obviously led to the seeding in the playoffs being what it was, and then in the playoffs, respective injuries themselves potentially costing teams playoff series, playoff games, etc. But with those injuries, there was some good, I guess. And that was the parity. As I said earlier, before the season, everyone would have expected Nets, Clippers, maybe Bucks, but Nets, especially to come out of the East. But thankfully, I guess we didn't get that. When James Harden, Kyrie Irving, they got injured in the playoffs, it gave the teams that were still remaining, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Hawks, it gave all those teams more optimism that they could actually advance to the conference finals and obviously then the finals. And then in the West, it was basically a toss-up. Even with the Suns getting the second seed, I don't think anyone really expected them to either get past the Lakers in the first round and even, I'd say, make it to the finals. Similarly with the Utah Jazz, even though they got knocked out in the second round. But the injuries themselves gave the playoffs, and I guess the regular season as well, it gave them a bit more of the sense of the unexpected. We didn't necessarily know the results of any of these games, and even in the playoffs, teams surprised us. I don't think anyone would have expected the Bucks to beat the Heat 4-0. Same with the Hawks taking the Hawks or the Knicks of 5. Sorry. And speaking of the Knicks, we had a lot of teams that either disappointed, obviously, or exceeded expectations. One of those teams, obviously, exceeding expectations being the Knicks. I'd say the Hornets also probably exceeded expectations, along with, obviously, the Suns. But, yeah, along with the injuries, I'd say the award races were pretty fun to watch play out. James Harden going down during the season, obviously, it would have been interesting if he didn't. I thought he had a really good case to win MVP before he went down. Same with Embiid, but Jokic obviously deserved it. The Defensive Player of the Year race was probably one of the more tightly contested defensive or award races in recent memory. I don't know if I'd put the Rookie of the Year race in there, but it was still pretty close. The finals, I'd say this finals has probably been one of the more memorable for me, at least since I played 2016, and then before that, 2013, if I had to guess. But there's been a lot of memorable moments. There's been a lot of memorable plays. That Drew Holiday stripped lob to Giannis Game 5 was, I mean, that's going to go down in the books, especially if the Bucks win tonight or Game 7. But yeah, I know the viewership has been up. I don't know what the exact stats are with that or anything, the exact percentages, but I know the viewership for the finals has increased over the last, or increased this year compared to the past 2-3 years, and that's good for the NBA. LeBron not even being in the playoffs after the first round, the playoffs have still been very they've been very entertaining. You have guys like John Morant, you have guys like Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Trae Young. Some of them, it's their first time in the playoffs and they're balling out, and I think that's exactly what the NBA needs. They're marketing their young stars now. This is very good for the NBA moving forward, and as a fan of the game, more important than anything, it's very good for the league. I see this especially when players like LeBron, KD, Steph retire in a few years. I think the league is obviously in very good hands, and that's definitely something to look forward to, I guess, if you're a fan of the NBA like myself, or if you're a fan of really any team, because there's a lot of good players out there, and there's a lot of fun teams, fun names, and the brand of basketball, the game, it's only getting played at a higher quality. So that's really what there is to look for, I guess. This season, I've found more than others in the past. Very, very enjoyable, and yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, me. First video. If you're watching, thanks for making it this far. I don't want to do the cliche YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe maybe if you enjoy. Yeah.